These witnesses saw something real and solid. These are military witnesses, and these people, when they make a report like this and say this is highly unusual, you can take that to the bank.
Inside the British Ministry of Defence, Nick Pope was cleared to read Britain's most closely held state secrets. As he was to discover, the ministry was sitting on its very own X-Files. In the early 90s, this former deputy director of the MOD was pulled aside to investigate the threat to British national security posed by UFOs. When you were asked to do it, did they sort of come up with a bit of a wry smile and say, "I've got something for you, old boy"?
I was effectively headhunted into that job. I was broadly sceptical. I certainly went in there having no expectation of finding little green men.
What Nick Pope found in those secret files was intriguing, but one incident left him questioning for the first time whether the truth really is out there.
The turning point was the Cosford incident. It was this point midway through my tour of duty where I came in one morning and the phones were ringing off the hook, and gradually throughout that day I put together this story of this amazing series of sightings that had occurred over a period of 6 hours.
On the night of 30th of March 1993, across southern England, reports flooded in of strange lights moving in a northeasterly course. They formed the outline of a massive black triangle. The most dramatic sighting that night was here around the Royal Air Force's Shropshire base in Shropshire. Multiple witnesses independently reported seeing not just lights, but a clearly structured black triangular craft which moved slowly overhead and then accelerated off to the horizon at impossible speeds. Now, the fact of this sighting is clearly recorded in the newly released Ministry of Defence files. But even more interesting, the investigators from the Defence Department were unable to explain that mystery, even to this day. Of all the accounts, the most compelling was filed by the on-duty meteorological officer at a nearby base.
He saw it initially move slowly towards the base, and he said it's very slow speed, maybe 30 or 40 miles an hour. And then he heard this low-frequency humming sound, which he said was quite unpleasant, rather like standing in front of a bass speaker. He said he could feel the sound as well as hear it. He saw this narrow beam of light firing down from the craft, and from this very slow speed, the UFO accelerated away to the horizon in seconds. And he described this to me as many times faster than a military jet aircraft.
And this is a credible military witness?
This is an Air Force officer with 8 years service.
And you believed it?
Absolutely.
Just there, it was moving in a northern direction, in the direction of RAF Cosford. It was moving very, very slowly. The white light at the front, it was very erratic, emitting the light. And it was as if it was searching for something very, very slowly. And then I stood there for at least 2 or 3 minutes and watched it just move so slowly. And then all of a sudden, it just went off, just shot on, gone, poof.
This is the first time Darren Perks has publicly spoken about what he saw that night. In 1993, he was an Air Force cadet. His description matches exactly the one given by the RAF Met officer.
Craft. It was defined against the sky. The sky was clear. The stars were out. This blocked out the stars. It was black, solid, triangular.
Neither myself nor my superiors at the MOD have any conventional explanation for what was seen. To this day, it's completely unexplained.
The British Ministry of Defence investigators even approached their American counterparts here in Washington, D.C. to ask them whether the US was doing any secret test flights in British airspace that might explain the spate of weird UFO sightings. The answer they got back from the Americans was even more intriguing.
They gave us absolutely cast-iron assurances that there was no such craft.
Let's say it was of extraterrestrial origin. Why would ET fly billions of light years across the galaxy and park itself over a RAF base in England?
Speculatively speaking, if these things were alien, I guess their motives, it seems to me, would be scientific study.
But crucially, you concede it's a possibility.